Good evening. There are calls to make it easier for Chinese nationals to get tourist visas to enter the UK. It's claimed that relaxing the rules would benefit the capital's economy, but it's put two government departments at odds over the plans. The Culture Secretary supports the idea, while the Home Secretary believes the changes would pose a threat to national security. Our political correspondent Carl Mercer reports.
There's a corner of the capital that will be forever Chinese, but off the back of Olympic success, tourism bosses are hoping the links between London and the world's biggest market will grow. But even the attractions of Chinatown aren't pulling in enough Chinese visitors at the moment, especially when you compare the UK to the rest of Europe. The figures are stark. Last year, Britain had 149,000 visitors from China, but France had 1.2 million. The reason? Some put it down to the fact that a single visa will allow Chinese tourists to visit 25 European countries, but not Britain, as it has opted out of the so-called Schengen Agreement. Here at the community centre in Chinatown, they want it made easier for Chinese tourists to come here.
For years, lots of Chinese went to Denmark, and Germany. And there's no problem at all, of course, it's the Schengen Agreement. And of course, the UK opt out on that. Maybe it's time to revisit that opt out.
But the world of politics seems as tricky as the world of Chinese chess. On Tuesday, the Culture Secretary launched an £8 million promotion to get more Chinese tourists to come to Britain.
We need to get on the front foot. And through this new campaign, I want us to treble the number of Chinese visitors we attract, getting to 500,000 by 2015.
He's said to favour visa changes. The Home Secretary, it appears, does not. A leaked letter to a newspaper outlines her thoughts on easing restrictions. It talks about facing significant challenges with foreign national offenders and mentions problems with organised crime, drugs and money laundering. Those promoting the capital, though, say any change that makes it easier would be welcomed. Chinese visitors spend 3 times the average.
We support anything that's going to making tourism easier to come into London. That's what we want to make sure that we do actually make all of those viewers into visitors. So anything that helps that, I think, is a benefit.
More visitors will always find a homely welcome in at least one part of town. Carl Mercer, BBC London News.
Our reporter Aisha Baksh is in the West End this evening to tell us more about the impact of Chinese tourism in London. Aisha.
Well, Assad, many of those Chinese shoppers are likely to be found here in the West End. The new West End company, which represents many of the shops here, say that they've actually been lobbying the government on this issue for well over a year now. They point out that the average shopper from China spends more than someone from somewhere else in the world, and that's why they want more Chinese people to come here. Some of the shops, though, have already cottoned on to this. Big stores like Selfridges and John Lewis have many signs inside the store in Mandarin, and they allow visitors to use Chinese yen. Now, at a time when the government is publicly saying it's keen to curb immigration, any visa relaxations do seem unlikely on this. But for the moment, this issue will be looked at very closely by those who own many of the shops here on Oxford Street tonight.
Aisha Baksh in the West End, thank you very much.